What is happening? Hello. Give me a hashtag replay if you're watching this on the replay, please. We're going to get it started very shortly. I'm just letting Facebook load up and do its thing. We'll get it shared. Where are we? Cool. Sharing a couple of Facebook groups. We've got a few on Instagram. Hey team, hope you're good. Someone leave me an emoji in the comments. Just let me know that you can hear me, you can see me okay. Please, be much appreciated. I hope you're having a great day as well. Hey Jack, mega awesome. We'll give it about 60 seconds. I'm going to roll into it pretty fast on this one, to be honest. We're going to get into it very soon. Guys watching this on the replay, give me a hashtag replay, please. We're just going to give a chance for a few people to jump on Facebook. Let a few more jump on Instagram. We will go. We're going to be speaking about doing the work now, so the future of your diabetes control just flows. Going to be a good one, this. We're going noteless. We've got no notes. I'm just going off the cuff and what goes on in my head over this certain sort of topic, but we will get into it when we start recording for the podcast team. Right. Let's hit record. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. What is happening? Welcome back to another episode. You know where you are, the Type 1 Movement Podcast, the number one podcast if you're a Type 1 diabetic, or you know a Type 1, or you love a Type 1, or you're the parent of a Type 1. Hey, everything about Type 1, right? So guys, before we get started in this episode today, please leave me a rating and review on the podcast app, as it really does help me reach more Type 1 diabetics and positively impact our community. Also, feel free to screenshot whatever device and platform you're listening to it on and share it on your Instagram stories and tag me at Type1_Tom, because I love getting the messages off you guys saying, hey, I really enjoyed this episode, Tom. I'm like, yeah, mega, what was your biggest takeaway? And you tell me, and you've implemented something and it's changed either the way that you manage your diabetes, your control, or your life, or your mindset towards it, or your mindset in general. I love hearing that, guys, so keep those coming. So today, I'm going off the cuff. We've got no notes on this one because I want it to be kind of real and authentic. Not that when we have notes don't even. But we're going to be speaking about doing the work now so the future of your control in terms of your diabetes just flows. Now, this has been prompted because I speak to a lot of Type 1s and they're like, it's a lot of work and I don't want it to take over my life. And I understand that, team. I know it's hard work, yeah. I know it's very mentally consuming, all the shit we have to think about every single day, yeah. But if it tends to be when we want to improve something, we start to pay more attention to it, yeah. When we want to improve something, we start to pay more attention. When we start to pay more attention, it takes up more mental energy, yeah. That's the way that it is at the end of the day, yeah. Now, being a Type 1, it's always going to take up a certain amount of our mental capacity because of all the decisions we have to make every single day, yeah? But the idea of this, so let's use a good analogy. Guys, do you remember the first time that you tried to squat? I remember the first time that I tried to squat. It was shit. My knees were going in, my stance was all off, and it took so much sort of concentration and focus for at least, I'd say, the first 3 to 6 months, yeah, of every time, every rep that I did took so much focus, right? But now I can squat with ease. I can do a front squat, a back squat, body weight squat, jumping squat, overhead squat, and that's only because at the start I put the time and the work in. And it took a lot, it took a lot of concentration, but I put the time and the work in, so later down the line, we reap the rewards of it, yeah? And managing your diabetes is the same, team. Like, if you know that you can do better with certain aspects of your control, maybe that's being more active, maybe it's eating better, maybe it's educating yourself on how insulin works, your nutrition, all these things that go into managing our blood glucose as Type 1 diabetic. If you're paying a lot of attention to that now, knowing that that's going to help your knowledge, because knowledge is key, but more so your application of that knowledge. And yes, that will take up a lot of mental capacity, but the idea of doing this, team, and this is something that I say to my clients when they join my programs. Currently my programs are 12 weeks long, and I'm like, yeah, there's going to be fucking work to do, and it's going to take up a lot of time and energy, but we do it now. So down the line, it just flows. You run all these sort of tests now, so down the line, when things need adjusting in terms of basal rate, insulin to carb ratios, all that sort of good shit, you know what to do, and you can just tweak it because you've put that solid groundwork in at the start. Yeah, you do it now. You go out, you exercise, you get all this data, you assess, you sit down with it, because then in the future, when you go into exercise, you can just tweak it. The position that I'm in now with my control, and I say this to my clients, and I'll be honest with you guys, if you saw how I manage my diabetes, it would look like I'm winging it. And I'll be straight up and honest with you. It will look like I'm winging it, but I still manage to keep an HbA1c of about 5.3 to 5.5. Yeah, my timing target, near enough every day, is at least 70 to 80%. Yeah, and if you see me managing my diabetes, you say fucking winging it, right? Because I'm not constantly running tests. I don't track my food anymore. Yes, I'm keeping active and stuff, but the reason that I'm able to get away with this, and I'm so honest about this, is because I've put the fucking work in. I've been type 1 for 14 years now. At least six of those years, and still today I'm still learning, was spent researching, trying different ways of eating. Do you know what I mean? Trying low carb, trying higher carb, trying changing around ratios, trying different exercises. Like, guys, I put the work in, so now I can reap the reward, so to speak, of just letting it flow, just making small tweaks here and there. Why? Because I built up that knowledge and I put the work in at the start. I tracked my food for years and years on end. Yes, sometimes I still go back and track. Yeah. I remember, I speak about this a lot, my first time exercising, I used to just stop part of the way through, prick my finger. I had so much data around what would happen because I put the work in. You know what? It took a lot of mental energy. It was hard work at first, team, but it pays off. It pays off. So what I'm trying to get across on this is not going to be a super long episode, is understand that you need to put the work in now. You need to put that solid hard work, that base in now of running these basal tests, finding these insulin to carb ratios, trying different exercises, trying different foods. So later down the line, it will just feel like it flows. It will kind of feel like it's on autopilot. Yes, you'll still have bad days, bastard diabetes days, I do, but it will feel like it's flowing. And you will never get to that place if you come into trying to better your diabetes management. If you come in and you're like, right, I'll just tinkle along with it a little bit and then maybe one day it'll be easy. No, put the fucking work in now, then one day it will be easier. I don't like saying easy, because with type 1s at the end of the day, you got to be realistic. It's never easy, but if you put the work in at the start, you can have enough knowledge and enough ammo there to be able to deal with it, yeah? And I want you to understand that it's worth putting the work in now so it does become easier. Yes, it can be frustrating, but it does get easier. Ask anyone with great glucose control and good management of their diabetes, like how it was when they decided, like, hey, I really want to fucking take charge of this, yeah? You can even ask some of my clients now, say they feel like it's flowing, which is a great place to be in, but that's because they come into the program and they put the fucking graft in, they was bang on it with everything, straight from the start. And that's the only way that you get to that position. So there's two sides that I want to look at here. If you're one of these who's like, you know what? I don't really want it to consume my life and that, but I want better control. Well, hang on a minute. Do you not think, I'll ask this question now, do you not think the fact that you've said, I don't want my diabetes to take over my life, is the reason that you've not put enough work in to have great control? Do you not think that? Because you've got to be honest with yourself. If you're going through knowing, I could probably do better, but I've got this to think about, I've got that to think about, I don't want it to be on my mind all the time. But then you whinge that you've not got great control, but you're telling people then, or me if you're speaking to me, that I don't want to put the work in, Tom, all the time, but I want great glucose control. Doesn't fucking work like that. You put the work in now, so eventually I don't know how long it's going to be for you until you've put enough work in to be able to, like, yeah, I'm kind of automating stuff. Do you know what I mean? It feels like it's flowing. I just tweak here and there, go about my day. I've got all this knowledge and all these experiences that I know what I'm doing with it. I know how it affects me. I can just make tweaks instead of it taking up so much brain power. I don't know how long that will take for you, but it will happen. I can guarantee that if you put the fucking work in now. If you put the work in now. It's the same as anything. I use that squat analogy. First time doing a squat, I was shit. It took so much effort. And now it's second nature. Gonna be the same with managing your diabetes. Anything you want to improve on, team, you need to understand at the start, it will take up a lot of brain power. It'll take up a lot of energy. It's just the way that it's going to be. But you put the work in now, so it's not always going to be that way. I can guarantee you that. Yeah? So, I'm thinking, I want to give you a couple of things. A couple of tips that really did make it, I'd say, easier for me around, so let's say, the start of managing my diabetes to lead me to this position. Couple of things. And the first one, you probably heard me say this before, is get and track as much data as you possibly can. It's never going to be overkill. Get and track as much data as you possibly can. And this means like your food, tracking your calories, your macronutrients, so your carbs, fats, and your protein, your blood glucose, what exercise you're doing. Get and track as much data as you possibly can. Yeah, that would be my first tip. The second tip is only focus on one thing at a time. And if you know me, you know I'm big on this. So you might have all this data in terms of nutrition, exercise, running tests, insulin and stuff, but just pick one. Pick one thing and focus on that. Nail that, then move on. They're the two main tips that I can give you when you're in the trenches and you're like, your mind, it's consuming you quite a bit. Because like I say, it has to be. I was borderline. No, I was probably obsessed when I first started to try and be like, right, I'm going to fucking dominate this condition. I was probably to the point of being obsessed. But that paid off. Now I'm not. Yeah? So if those two tips that I could give you, the first thing is get as much data as you possibly can, track everything. You're probably going to feel like you're overkilling it. You might not use some of it, but it's best to have it. Yeah. The second thing is then pick one specific area and focus on that. Yeah. If it's managing your glucose levels around exercise, like focus on just your exercise, because there's only so much brain power we can give to one certain area at a time. Yeah, I'm not saying let nutrition slip and stuff like that. Let that keep ticking over, but let's focus on exercise. Let's nail that, and then we'll move on. Yeah, one thing at once. Guys, that is it. This was a rather short and sweet episode, but I really want to get that point across that at the start, when you decide, hey, I'm going to fucking dominate my diabetes, I'm really going to take charge of this, I need to now, I want to be the best health in a few years down the line, it's going to take a lot of brain power. It's going to feel like it's all you're thinking about. And that's okay. That's pretty normal. Because, say, a few months, or I don't know, however long it's going to be for you, it will not always be that way. Once you put the graft in, it will just flow. And I can assure you of that. Put the work in now, reap the rewards down the line. Yeah? Guys, that is it. If you got value from this episode, please leave me a rating and a review on the podcast app, as it does really help me reach more type 1 diabetics and positively impact our community. Also, feel free to screenshot and share it on your Instagram stories and tag me at type1_Tom. There's one thing I want to leave you with, guys, and it's this. When you're putting the work in, you're going to get really frustrated at times. You're going to get pissed off. You're going to feel overwhelmed. And you're going to feel like shit's not going the way that you planned it. That's pretty normal. You've just got to keep going through it. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. That's all I can say on that. Yeah. And it just shows that you do care at the end of the day. That is it. Keep fucking going. Right. Guys, thank you very much for listening to this episode today. I appreciate you. As always, I hope you enjoy your morning, day, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Until the next episode, guys, peace. Do we have any questions? Shelley, this is my biggest goal. Getting back to not think about diabetes all day long. Love the recommendations. Love it. Thanks, Shell. And we will definitely be doing that. Now you're part of my team. Jack, so where's the podcast review? It's not uploaded yet. Quick flick through Instagram, see what's going on. Holla, hey. Thanks for the emojis, team. I definitely feel like I'm winging it every day. Depends how much work you've put in at the start. If you can get away with it, like your numbers will be a representation of if you can or not. Yes, I'm 51 and have recently started getting fit. It's fucking hard. It's hard at the start, but then it flows. And I want you to think about this. Like, if something, and you probably heard this before, if something isn't hard, it's not going to be worth having. At the end of the day, yeah. Training to run a half marathon or a marathon's hard, but once you've done it, it's fucking rewarding. Yeah. Learning about type 1 diabetes and educating yourself on shit is fucking hard, but once you've done it, it's rewarding. Anything worth having in life is hard. It's hard to get there. The process is hard. Sometimes keeping it is hard as well. Anything worth having in life is hard. Why do you think that not everyone has got great control? Not everyone's walking around in shape. Not everyone's in the best health. Not everyone's like financially independent. Why do you think this shit is in life? Because to achieve certain things is hard. And a lot of people don't want to go through hard. They want the results. They want the end. But they don't want the process that it takes to get there. And that's straight up, that's fucking real talk. A lot of people are the same on that, yeah? So achieving anything worth having in life is hard. You've just got to remember why the fuck you want it, yeah? And then you have to enjoy the process of achieving it. Never just do it for the end result. Enjoy the process of achieving it, yeah? A few words of fucking wisdom there for you. Maybe we'll do a full episode on that one day. Right, team, that is it. Thank you very much for watching this live. I'm going to jump off. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this. And until the next live, peace.